Well, that's it. So, hello, and welcome to, I don't even know what to call it. I suppose it's an introduction, or not an introduction, creating a D&D character. Because I know lots of people out there that have always been interested in 5th edition, because it's what I'm doing in specifically 5th edition. I know lots of people that have been interested in playing characters in 5th edition, and they've had no clue how to start a character, or no idea where to go with what they want to do. And I feel like this video might help them. Specifically, Bardi. He could deal with creating a character, and I could run him through something small just over the internet for crack, like, you know? Why not? Just, yeah, so I'm gonna ramble quite a lot because I have no fucking idea what to say. We'll start with the systems to create characters. There's two. There's the points buy system, which is an even spread of points. You spend them on each stat you want, like it's on the sort of strength, dex, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. They're all pretty self-explanatory, and each stat is governing a specific things. Like, for example, as you can see there, acrobatics is governed by dex. So if you have a higher dex score, then you're going to be better at, like, flipping around the fucking gaff. You know, that it's simple like that. So there's the points buy, where you spend X amount of points in each system. Like, so say you have, I can't even remember, give me a second, I'll find out what the exact points buy system is. It's something not too mental. Anyway, where are we? Game dice, D20, part 1, blah blah blah. Choose a class, choose a race. Yeah, I know all this. I've passed it. I must have grabbed 2 pages instead of 1. Here we go. So there's actually 3 ways. There's the standard scores: 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Which, yeah, it's a pretty even spread. I wouldn't bother with that. There's also, this is the way I was talking about, the 27. So you got 27 points to spend along each stat. So 27 points to spend on your ability scores. The cost of each score is shown on the ability score point table. For example, a score of 14 costs 7 points. So you start at 8. If you're spending these, you start at 8 and it's 0. To go to 9, it's 1. To go to 10, it's 2. 12. So it's pretty even. The highest you can go to is 15 by the looks of it, which is pretty naff because it gives you +2 and you're 1 away. I suppose you could create a race, but what? Anyway, I'm going to go through the way I prefer to do it, which is rolling dice. So you roll 4d6, you add the 3 highest, take away the lowest, and that's your score. You can come up with some fucking wonderful characters this way. Like, truly unique characters have been created out of pure bollocks rolls. I can guarantee you that. So we'll go quick, right? So that's the first roll. I got 6, 6, 2, and 1. So that's 12, 14. Right, so 14. 14. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to create a dual wield dex-based fighter, because that's what I like to go. I'm a very simple person. I find one type of play and I stick with it, and I like dual wielding. Probably because of Drizzt, but whatever. However, let's see. This is not so great. So that's 4 and 3 is 7 and 3 is 10. That was a 3, not a 6. So that's 14 and 10. 14, 10. Go again. Oh, sugar, that's terrible. It's another 10. 2, 3, and 5 is another 10, and the lowest was 1. So far, we've got 14, 10, and 10. I'm a dungeon master more than a player, so I wouldn't really worry about this sort of stuff. 6 and 5 is 11, and 3 is 14. So it's 14, 10, 10, 14. 2 more, and then we'll talk about the next step. 4 and 5 is 10, and 4 is 14. So that's another fucking 14. 3 14s, 2 10s. These dice aren't very fucking friendly to me today. Oof. It's another 10. 4 and 4 is 8, and 2 is 10. So 3 14s and 3 10s. Now, your Dungeon Master might allow you, and I do, to take your lowest roll. Pretty even spread, I got fucking 10s all over the gaff. Take your lowest roll and re-roll it with the premise that you take whatever your the new roll is. So if I re-roll one of these 10s and it comes up as an 8, I gotta take that 8, which is what I'm gonna do. One more, I've got 11. 6, 4, and 1 is 11. So this guy's stats are pretty fucking naff. At 14, 10, 10, 14, 14, and 11. So what I'm going to roll, I'm going to start at level 5, because that's the level I like to start my players off at. Every single person that's played for me, except for this weekend, well, last weekend, they've all played before, so they know the deal. They know what type of person they're going to play. They know how to play it. So starting at level 5 works for me because I can put in the higher power enemies that I like, because I'm a bit of a bastard, I'm not gonna lie. I like to use enemies that can handle the shit that the players are gonna throw at me. If I'm playing, because last weekend I did a level 3 campaign, literally just a quick one shot to run 2 people that I know through so they can try it. And again, people who would have laughed at D&D before tried it, and one specifically, Kelly, she asked me today, well, when's our next session? And I said, so you want to continue? Weekend after next maybe, or after that. So yeah, so what I'm going to do with that campaign is I'm going to boost them all up to level 5 now, because they've played, so the 2 of them will know, and then the other 3 that played already would have known anyway. So yeah, I like level 5. It's a good jumping point. It's after your first stat boost from level 4, and it's just, you can start really playing with magical stuff at 5th level if you're into a magical game. If you're a DM, like, it's all subjective really. Right, so that's the rolls for the stats. Now we're gonna go about making this character. So I'll move this out of the way, and I will put this in here. Right, so what we've got now is next thing you gotta do is pick your race. I like the human race, specifically the human variant. For me, human variant is my favorite starting race because you get +1 to 2 stats, so I can turn those two of those 14s to a 15. What I'm actually going to do is go 15 and turn that 11 to a 10, because stats, something I haven't explained yet, stats have a plus. So at 10 they're +0. At 12, they're +1. 14, they're +2. 16, they're +3. 18, they're +4. 20, they're +5, and so on. For each 2 points in your stat score, your modifier goes up. And say you've put, which is what I'm going to be doing, put your 15 into Dex. Your Dex is 15. It's +2. God, this guy's going to be terrible. It's +2 with 15 Dex, so he's got +2 at level 5. His proficiency bonus, I believe, is actually +3, which what that says right now. So that's +5. So if he were to roll an attack on a d20 with his Dex-based weapon, he'd get the number on the dice, which say is 9. Right, he'd get that 9, and then he'd get to add 5 to it, and he'd get 14. And all depending on the weapon, it could be more. But yeah, as I said, I'm rambling. So we're going to go human. We're going to go human variant for the simple fact that we can pick a feat, and we get an extra proficiency, if I'm correct. Skill, yeah, 1 proficiency and skill of your choice, and a feat. I'm going to go with the dual wielding feat. So let's click on over here to this. So we're human variant, level 5. Race. Human. Okay. And then we go down here. Like, I can write it all out as well, but I just, it's easier to use this. Where do we pick variant? It's down here. Yes, racial options. Variant human. Okay, I know. So I get +1 to 2 different ability scores of my choice, which would be, as I said, I'd make that 11 a 12, and I'd make 1 14 a 15. I get a feat of my choice, which would be dual wielding, and I gain proficiency in 1 skill of my choice, which would, I don't know actually, because it's all pretty even. So we'll spend our stats for now, right? So strength, I'll make a 14, which is +2, as I told you. Dex is going to be a 15 because it's a +1 from human. Con is going to be a 14. That's 2 out of 14s. 3 out of 14s gone because we got +1. So now we've got 2 10s and an 11, which is going to be turned into a 12. We will make the intelligence 12. So 12 intelligence, which was the 11, and 2 10s, wisdom and charisma. The nice thing about these scores, even though they're pretty shit, is that there's nothing under 10. If you're on under 10, if you're on 8, for example, that would be -1 to your modifier. So if I was rolling charisma and I was rolling on persuasion, I'd roll and I'd -1 from the thing. So it's fucking crazy. It's not something you want. So we've gone human variant. Let's pick the languages. Languages are all really thematic. It's all about it like. For me, I normally would have dwarves in my games, so dwarves and drow. I'm a fucking stickler for people like the drow, but we'll give him dwarvish. Let's make him a human that has grown up around dwarves. Character name, I've already decided this is going to be Ezram. Human variant by the name of Ezram. Right, so now we'll pick his class. As I said, for me, I like dual fighter, so I've gone. That's a shaky fucking camera. I've gone with fighter. So he's a level 5. Up one more, please. 5. Class fighter. Also, the reason I started them at level 3 the other day was because at level 3 you get to pick your subclass or your archetype, and that really is when your players can start playing around with or players in general, not your players, can start playing around with their character class. Because like here on the first, for example, arcane archer, it's turning your fighter into a fucking archer that can use a lot of extra stuff. Like he can be an archer who can shoot 1 arrow that at will he can turn it into 3 or stuff like that, you know. But for the sake of this video, we're going to stick to the stuff that's in just the player's handbook. So I've decided to go with champion because of the extra crit range. I'll explain that now in a second. Let's apply this. Come on. This always takes a while. If you... No, never mind. If you're wondering what I'm using, it's a file called More Purple, More Better Character Record Sheet. And I own all the books. I own every single one of the books. So I just uploaded PDFs of them and I've got all the information in it. It's a JavaScript file, so it'll automatically pick once you've created the JavaScript fucking script. Right, so he's a level 5 champion. Let's go down now and have a look at what he gets. So level 1, you actually get it at level 1. He gets to choose his fighting style. So for me, I'm definitely, as I've said, going 2-weapon fighting. So this will change. I can add my ability modifier to the damage of my offhand attacks. And offhand attacks, for the sake of 5th edition, your offhand attack is a bonus action. So you roll your attack. At level 5, I'll have 2 attacks. And then a bonus action, which is your 3rd attack. And because of 2-weapon fighting, I can now add my modifier to that as well, the damage, which is definitely handy. Second wind is also very, very useful. As a bonus action, I regain 1d10 fighter die, or fighter level HP even. I can use this once per short rest, and this will change based on your constitution modifier. So it's 1d10 plus 2, which is very handy. That's why some people like to bust up their con to quite high. For backgrounds, I haven't finished reading about this actually, have I? Action Surge is another thing that you get at level 2. You can take an additional action on top of your normally allowed actions, but you have to take a short rest after. So say you are in a dungeon and you're fighting what you're sure is the last enemy in this dungeon, and you've saved your action surge, which always happens to me. Saved your action surge for the big bastard that you know you've got to fucking spend all your everything. You got to take him out. You've done your attack and he's looking weak. You're like, I'm going to use my action surge, Dungeon Master. So you then get to roll, say level 5, you get to roll your full action again. You don't get to add your bonus action, but you would get, at level 5, you'd get an extra 2 attacks. So that would make it fucking 5 attacks as a dual wielder against that guy. That is nasty. Depending on your bonuses. With me, it's not going to be quite so good. I mean, it's going to be good, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be as good as the character that, say, Shelly rolled, which was 2 18s. She got 2 bastard and 18s in her initial rolls. That's god levels. She didn't get anything under 12, I don't believe. So it makes poor old Ezrin look pretty weak. So we've gone with the champion level 5. We're now going to pick the feat. As I said, I've already decided the feat I'm going. Human bonus feat. See, this is so handy because it tells us what we need to take. Human bonus feat is going to be, I believe it's called 2 weapon fighting. I don't think it's called anything about dual wield mastery or anything like that. Because I remember looking for dual wield before and nothing came up. So let's have a look. Okay, no. Maybe it is dual wield. Oh yeah, dual wielder. There we go. I stand corrected. I can use 2 weapon fighting even when one-handed melee weapons I'm wielding aren't light. I can draw or stow 2 one-handed weapons when I would normally be able to draw or stow only 1, and plus 1 AC. That's the important part for me. Plus 1 AC when wielding separate weapons in each hand, because it means 1, obviously I can now stow 2 quicker than I would be able to, and draw, which is the important part, and the AC. So once I've applied all his starting weapon and gear, you'll be able to see what his armor class is. It's not going to be great. Plus 3s is 10s, 13. We're giving him light armor, so it'd be leather. Anyway, let's go on to the background. So again, I've gone with pretty much what was in the book for the fire. So we're going to go soldier. I do like the soldier background. Sailor, soldier. I get a gaming set. Let's give him dice because it's Dungeons and Dragons. So extra dice is always handy. Player name. Let's. That would be Baldy, or nothing because nothing fucking typed out. LDY. Baldy. Garibaldi. Right. 2 attacks per action. Second wind. Right. So we've gone with soldier. Soldier. Each background has a feature, and the soldier's feature is something called military rank. I have military rank for my career as a soldier. Soldiers loyal to my former military organization still recognize my authority and influence. I can invoke my rank to influence soldiers and temporarily requisition simple equipment or horses. I can usually gain access to friendly military encampments and fortresses where my rank is recognized. So that might come into play. So say you've picked soldier and you've got your military rank and you've sat down with your dungeon master and you've decided, I want to have been a sergeant in X army, and maybe once we've rolled the traits, the ideas, the bonds and the flaws, we'll be able to come up with something that is slightly firmer. But I want to be able to say, if we come across an encampment of this army, I'd like to go up to them and say, hey, can I borrow a horse, please? Because mine's fucking dying here. And they'll go, no, because you're a randomer. Or, if you've got military rank, you will then say to your DM, excuse me, I would like to pull rank on this little prick and show him my fucking insignia. So you flash your badge and then you go, oh, I'm sorry, sir, and give you your horse, which is what you need at that point. Or armor or whatever else you've asked for. It can only be simple stuff because it states it there. Simple equipment, so no magical stuff. I remember my player once, Rusty, he's legendary. I'm sure you've seen him on the Dungeons and Deviants stream. He tried to use this to ask for plate mail, and I kept telling him no, and he would not stop. He doesn't stop. Once he's got an idea in his head, he's like a dog with a fucking bone. I want this plate mail. I want this plate mail. I'm having it. Every soldier I come up to, if they're a member of the army I was in, I am asking for their plate mail. Players are funny, man. We're all funny. Murder hobos for life. Right, so let's go. Right, we've got soldier. So we'll bring back the tray. I'm sure I'm gonna fucking have it off screen properly now, like a gobshite, but however. So this, if you're used to D&D, then maybe you don't have to do something like this, rolling for your traits and stuff. You can just decide to pick these traits. But for a new player, the easiest thing to do is roll traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws, because it will give the players or you a guideline on how your character needs to be played. So let's just roll this out. Okay, fuck the specialty. Never mind that. Personality trait is 2d8. So when you're rolling the first one in background is 2d8, and then after that it's 1d6 each. So we'll roll personality traits. 1d8, that's a 5. So our first personality trait is I can stare down a hellhound without flinching. So this guy will be able to stand there, and if a fucking demon comes at him, he'll just be like, what? What do you want? Fuck you. Stare down. Okay, this says owlbear, but it's the same fucking principle. Owlbear. So that's the first trait. Oh shit, not what I want to do. And we're roll for the second personality trait. As I say, 2d8 for this. Second one is 2, which is I'm haunted by memories of war. I can't get the image of violence out of my mind. So this guy's got PTSD. Serious PTSD. Personality trait, haunted by memories. Yep, okay. So ideals then are a d6. Each one of these afterwards are 1d6. So we'll see what his ideals would be. It's 3. So number 3 in ideals is chaotic. So that, see, this is what it's handy for. You get chaotic, so you know you're gonna try and run your character as a chaotic, good, lawful, evil. All this can change depending on what your extra things are. Now, as I say, if you have a way you're gonna play in mind, then don't roll on me. Just fucking give yourself personality traits, give yourself ideas, give yourself bonds, give yourself flaws. But you need to give all of these. So if your DM wants to read your sheet, your DM can go, oh, actually, you're not playing the way you've designed your character. It should be this way. Yeah, so chaotic. Let me read this. When people follow orders blindly, they embrace a kind of tyranny. So he's basically saying he doesn't want to just... If someone tells him to kill someone, he's not going to do it without having a good damn reason. Right. Ideal. Next is the bond. 2. Someone saved my life on the battlefield. To this day, I will never leave a friend behind. That's always a good one to have. Something like that is because it then means that if you've got a buddy, you can't just fuck off and leave them, because your character wouldn't do that. Your character would stay behind to help his party. And flaws then, d6, 5. This could be funny. Okay, I obey the law, even if the law causes misery. So that could be really funny. Imagine being so you're in a town run by the BBEG, big bad evil guy, run by his army, and your rogue because this has happened, was just caught stealing something from a fucking fancy mansion. And all of you are legging it down the street. And a soldier comes up to you and says, halt! In the name of the law! Your guy's going to go, shit. And just stop, rigid. Because he upholds the law, even if it causes suffering. See, that shit's funny. That can come up with some really interesting fucking... yeah, right, so... That's all the rolling done, more or less, on the characters. But we've got to give him his equipment. And so, as a fighter, every race, not every class, not just fighters, every class gets starting equipment and starting gear. And the fighter's equipment that I've chosen for this, leather armor. So we'll go leather because I wanted to have a dex-based build, but this is fairly naff. 14 AC. Oh man. Oh, I would not like to use this guy. Leather armor, 2 times simple, 2 times martial weapons. So I went with rapier because again, these are for net. Oh, that says raper. Jesus Christ, indeed. Rapier. And we'll go again. And because of the champion, my crit range has been lowered from 19 to 20. So standard crit range is 20 in 5th edition. In 3rd edition, 3.5, the edition I learned, it's different. Like, say, scimitars could have... pretty sure scimitars were the ones that had a crit range of 19 to 20 to start. So if I had given this guy scimitars, and this, I actually do keep these rules in my games because I prefer these crits and whatever else. If I had given this guy scimitars, he'd only do 1d6, which is fairly shit. But he would also finesse, so changing this to a dex weapon. Yeah. Oh god, that's horrible. +3. Man, oh man, +2 even. So, yeah, as I was saying, 1d6 is the old scimitar from... I think it's a scimitar in this as well, actually. 19 to 20 crit range. If I'd given this champion a scimitar from 3.5, he would then have 18 to 20 right out the gate as a crit range. Meaning, if I roll this, and I fucking did get 18. If I roll that and get 18, then no matter what, it's gonna hit. It's a critical hit by standard 5th edition rules. I play 3.5 crits, so I've got potential of a crit with an 18. Then you roll crit confirm. 20. That's a natural fucking 20. So, the way this is working out now is I got a potential of a crit. Roll to confirm. You get over their AC, then it's a crit. If you get under their AC, it's a standard hit. It's just 1 crit. Which with a scimitar from 3.5 is 2d6. Right? But I just got a 20. So that's a double crit by 3.5 rules. So the last one would have been... So say this guy has 14 AC, it would have hit, right? So let's say for the sake of it, that is now officially a double crit. So that would, instead of being 2d6, instead of doubling the dice, it triples the dice. And so on and so on. I remember, again, Rusty. Stories of Rusty, fucking always everywhere. I remember in one game, Rusty was stood at the top of a castle after killing the guys had killed the leader of this castle, and the castle had subjugated the town. The town was essentially, there was like fucking 20 people stood in the town square, and the guys were stood on the parapets of this castle, and they're going, yeah, we've won, yeah, have a look at your fucking dead leader. And he holds up the still magically charged head, and Rusty says, I'm going to throw it down at the people. And I said, are you sure? It's magically charged. It's the stuff in his head. I'm going to throw it down at the people. Fuck it. They deserve to see his head. So he throws this. Me being me, I said, okay. Roll to hit. He goes, what? Roll to hit. Oh, for fuck's sake. He rolled a 20. He rolled another 20. He rolled another 20. He rolled another 20. He rolled fucking 4 20s in a row. And then he got something like 18 after that. And I said, fuck me sideways. You've just killed all the people that were down in that square because of the magnitude of that hit. So they wiped out the castle. They killed all the people in the castle because they wanted to take the castle over, and then they killed everyone in the town because Rusty decided it would be a fantastic idea to throw this magically charged head off the top of a parapet and roll such good rolls. I don't think he rolled anything similar to that ever since. Like, I could be wrong, he could have done it in someone else's game, but in my games, he hasn't rolled like that since. It's fucking mental. Sorry, this is turning into a video of me reminiscing about my group. However, so we've got the fighter. We'll pick the next weapon, which is also another rapier. Pier. And then we've got a light crossbow. Light. With 20 darts, although I prefer to not track things like bolts and darts and all the rest of it, so I'm fine without that. And then we go down here to the gear, and we need to add, I chose the Dungeoneer's pack to the left column, Dungeoneer's pack. And then we want to add equipment, so we will add all three of the above: soldiers, armor, and weapons. This will take a bit to apply. Common clothes, insignia of rank, that's what I meant when I said emblem. Trophy from a fallen enemy, bone dice or playing cards, it's the dice because I went with dice. Bell pouch, he starts with 10. He has 2 rapiers, a light crossbow, and leather armor. Crossbow, and leather armor. So that's Ezram, the human variant, dual wielding fighter with terrible stats built. But because he's level 5, he's gone past level 4, and at level 4 you get to choose. Let's go to fighter and see, shall we? Just to prove it. 4th level, I'm sure you can't see this, 4th level +2 ability score improvement. So you can either take the ability, the way I do it, and I'm pretty sure it says it somewhere in this book as well, you can either take the ability score improvement or a feat. At this point, I think I would probably go with a feat. You can get +2, you can get +1 in either things, or 2 in something. What I would do is I would go with a feat, something like maybe alert, I think, which gives you extra dex. I would look for a feat which increases your dexterity by 1, which would bring that up to 6 +5. No, okay. Right, let's have a look through these feats, because there is a feat. Acrobat, yeah, that would be it. +1 dex. So that would then, I can make a DC check, 15 dex check, to have difficult terrain, not cost me extra movement for this turn, which is pretty cool. Gain expertise with acrobatics, so your proficiency. Oh, I haven't done the skills actually. That's a good point. You gain expertise. So watch this, right? So say we've chosen. Oh wait, okay, we have acrobatics. What do we have that from? Human, we choose any one. Soldier, we get athletics and intimidation. Ah, okay, so that it came from that, right? So I will choose acrobatics as my human feat, right? Or my fighter feat. And after taking that feat, as my fighter skill, sorry, after taking that feat, I get to turn it into expertise, which doubles the proficiency bonus. So I now have +8. This 15, because I took that feat, is turned into a 16, which is now +3. So that increases all damage and attack and all that, which is handy as fuck. So we've got that, and that, and we have 2 more we can take. I can take any one from humans, so I'll take stealth, just because it's always useful to have stealth. And then we've taken acrobatics, so 1 more from fighter. Let's see. Choose 2: acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, history, insight, intimidation, perception, and survival. We've got intimidation and athletics from soldier, so all of these are not really great on the stats, are they? So let's go with something that's handy. Perception. We'll go with perception. At least I got a +3 to it now, so it's something, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So there. I mean, we could have gone a different way. We could have gone with Eldritch Knight, which is actually the way I prefer to play my fighters. I make them Eldritch Knights for the simple fact that I can take the ability Message as a cantrip. And Message is so fucking handy in roleplay. It's not even, like, I can't even begin to explain how handy Message is. It's so useful in all situations. Oh, because I raised that dex. My armor class just went up by 1. Because he's wearing leather armor. Leather armor is light armor. And light armor will allow you to have all of your dex modifier affect your armor class, which is very bloody useful. That's why I always, when I'm making my own characters, I always try, well, everybody tries to get an 18, but I always want to get an 18 in my fucking dex straight away, because that's then +4 right off the bat for my AC. And then I would normally pick a race, which gives me, well, actually I'd normally pick human in fairness, +1 and +1, I'd make the dex then 19. And then come this level, I would do the same. I'd take a feat which raises my dex by 1, which would give me 20 dex, meaning I'd have +5 to my armor class, +5 to my 2 hit, it'd actually be +8 to 2 hit, because you get to add your proficiency, +5 to damage. It's just all these, it's all useful and handy. And I know HP, let's sort of say I haven't done this right. So when I make them, I just give them the average, because the average, I've seen people, Rusty again, roll. So I believe with a fighter, it's a D10 here. So it's a D10 plus your constitution. Every level, except for first level. On first level, you get maximum HP plus your con. So at level 1, he would have 12 HP. 2, 3, 4, and 5, he would take, well, the way I'm doing it is 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's 4 levels of the average plus 2. So the average is half plus 1, I believe. So it would be 6. I could be wrong. It could be just half, but I think it's half plus 1. Where's fire? There we go. Hit points. Or 6. It's half plus 1. So it would be 6. So it would be 8. So we'd add 4 8s. So it would be 16, 32 plus 12 is 44. Yeah, there we go. So he'd have 44 HP. But I've seen people not opt for this. They've not opted for the even spread, the decent, because they can get higher. And in fairness, you could get higher than the 6. But Rusty has done this and gotten a 1, and then another 1, and then another 1, and he's come out with it at like level 5 with 20 odd HP. As a fighter, that's dreadful. You need to have decent health. So I think, personally, taking the even score is the best way to do it. It's just fair and above. Like, you can get more. And if you're willing to take that chance, you can have a really high health. But I, personally, am not willing to take that chance. Anyway, so that's been this video. It's not really been all that useful to people. But I know some people will use it. If you ever want me to make any D&D related stuff, because I see the Dungeons and Deviants posts are actually getting decent traffic. If you ever want me to make anything like this, anything similar to this again, just give me a shout. Let me know what you want me to do, and I'll do it. Because what the fuck else am I doing in this channel? Nothing right now. I need to sit down and do a game. I know I do. Don't say it, Carl. I know I need to do an RPG. I will. Anyway, thanks for watching.